Potential sunshine law violations. And Israel begins offering a third booster shot to its citizens. Also, we show you how one couple is taking on the Tokyo Olympics at home.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Missouri Attorney General closes its investigation of the Joplin City Council. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Tapping our first 7 minutes, the state's AG office completes its investigation into whether council members violated the state's sunshine law. The Attorney General had received complaints in 2020 that council members had gathered for dinners before their formal meetings. The complaints claim these dinner meetings should either be public or not happen at all, since there was no way to know whether city business was being discussed. The AG says the investigation did not find any violations of sunshine laws. However, the AG did provide guidance to the city on how to better handle those pre-meeting dinners. Well, the heat is on, but relief is in the forecast. And the lights are on too. I like this. Michael Aislip joins us for the first look.
Glow cloud coming out.
Time for me to shine. That's it.
I like that. That was perfect. That was absolutely perfect.
You know what I saw for the first time yesterday?
What's that?
The temperature reading in my Jeep went to 3 digits.
Whoa, that was really the first time?
The first time I've been in a vehicle and noticed it. Yeah.
Okay, so obviously this is Tanya's talking about when we've got our car parked and under the sun and of course the pavement. It depends on where you're
driving down Broadway.
Your thermometer is and whatnot. Mine registered 118.
Wow.
Yeah, 118.
You might want to get that looked at.
Or I might need a little thunderstorm activity to begin August. See what I did there?
There you go.
All right, live look outside of Television City. We have not had the cloud cover gather like what we've had past couple of days, but just wait a little bit, especially when you're down to the south. But for everybody, it's going to be hot no matter where you are, despite the fact that we're still holding on to some high 80s, especially in the southeastern portion of southwest Missouri, where we've got 88 in Monette, 89 in Anderson. Compare that to 94 in Chanute, 93 in Neodesha. And then we've got the Joplin, Pittsburgh, Miami triumvirate, kind of breaking it right in the middle. Yeah, the humidity, 44%, looks can be deceiving. It's still sticky out there. Here's what it feels like. Not as many as 100s as we've had for the past couple of days, maybe because we've got a little bit of a front that's hanging over us to the north. Now, with that being said, we still have an excessive heat warning in the purple and in the orange. That is indicating the heat advisory. Now, the Skywatch Storm Tracker, while it remains clear, we still have 2 more days of oppressive heat. But Tanya, what I was talking about, hey, what's going to head at us on Saturday? Well, after a very hot Saturday afternoon, we're actually going to get some thunderstorm activity to move through. And on top of that, we're going to find out exactly where that cold front's hanging out and why it's been so pesky. But once it does move in, down to the 80s, all to begin August.
All right. We'll just have to keep an eye on things. We'll be ready for the rain.
You enjoy 2 days. Be safe. Drink a lot of water. I'll keep my eye on it. And Sunday morning, when you wake up, you're going to be like, whew, finally a break.
Well, the bad thing is, if you want to get your yard mowed before it rains, you have to do it when it's hot.
Oh, you know what? Maybe we should break down a lawnmower forecast here in just a little bit.
Sounds like a plan. All right, thanks, Michael. EMS crews face challenges as the Delta variant spreads through the 4 states. Mercy EMS says it has seen a big increase in calls for services both here and in Springfield. We met with emergency responders out of Cassville, who says they're getting more COVID calls than other types of calls, and they have to make more long-distance trips as local hospitals fill up. We spoke to a paramedic who says there's a simple solution to most of the problems they're seeing.
The people that we are seeing that are hospitalized with oxygens of 62%, 57%, things like that, who are COVID positive, they're unvaccinated. Everybody has their own reason to not get vaccinated, but a sore arm for 2 days is much better than burying your wife. It's not worth that.
In Crawford County, Dr. Tim Stebbins says long-distance trips are their biggest challenges. When they have to take a patient to Kansas City, it takes an ambulance out of the county for a full 6 hours. Israel is forging ahead with a booster shot to battle rising cases of COVID-19. As CBS's Ian Lee reports, This will be the largest test to see how a third dose works.
While many countries debate a third dose of a COVID vaccine, Israel is giving it a shot. The country's president presented his arm on Friday for his booster.
We are beginning the booster vaccination, which is so vital to enable normal circumstances of life.
Israeli officials are giving a third Pfizer shot to anyone over age 60 who was vaccinated more than 5 months ago. At least 300,000 people are eligible, including Yoram Muscat, who says he'd even get a fourth dose if needed.
I think that the reasonable thing to do is to be vaccinated against the COVID-19.
Israel led the world's initial vaccine rollout, but is finding signs its efficacy diminishes over time. Now countries will watch to see how giving a third shot works. Pfizer says its data shows the booster can greatly increase protection against the Delta variant. Thursday, President Biden told reporters it's not needed yet.
No American needs a booster now. But if the science tells us there's a need for boosters, then that's something we'll do.
So far, the CDC says full doses of the current vaccines protect against severe disease from all common variants, including Delta. Ian Lee, CBS News.
That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon. 30 down, 66 to go. A British couple is taking on every event in this summer's Olympics in an effort to raise money to cure ALS. And later, we're making double chocolate chewies in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. The Olympic Games are usually reserved for athletes at the top of their sport. But what if you tried to do all the events yourself? One British couple is trying to complete every sport on the Tokyo schedule, from rhythmic gymnastics to pole vaulting to show jumping. Azim Tiab shows us the feat is raising money for a cause close to their hearts.
49 sports, 96 events, over 17 days, all by two self-proclaimed idiots. Stuart Bates and Charlotte Nichols are attempting the seemingly impossible by competing in their own version of the Tokyo Games, in which they're the only athletes to raise money for a cure to Lou Gehrig's disease, also known as ALS.
I lost my brother to this terrible disease 10 years ago when we wanted to do something massive that's never been done before. We came up with this absolutely ridiculous idea of doing every Olympic event in the 17 days of the Tokyo Games.
They're calling it the Spendy Olympics in honor of Bates's brother Spencer, who was an Olympic superfan. The fundraising challenge for their two-person summer games isn't for the faint of heart.
Slow down, Bailey. This way.
And comes with its fair shares of scrapes and bruises.
Oh. Yeah, we're good.
When you fall off the horse like that, it's not a small part of you worry, uh-oh.
No,
my heart stopped. I was like, that's it, Spendy Olympics done. I think we worry about each other more than we do about ourselves. There was a slight sort of, oh my God, what's happened? Yeah, when I saw him get back up, I was like, okay, here we go again. Next event.
Yeah, I'm a tough cookie. I bounce. So
Yeah. This is mentally demanding, physically demanding, and it took a lot of planning as well.
Yeah, all of those things. But the reason behind it is the most driving force.
Bailey, stop running!
Bates and Nichols' ambitious endeavor has earned them fans from across England.
I think it's great. We couldn't make it to Tokyo, but we were in Abingdon.
After months of training and advice from dozens of former and current Olympians on everything from cycle racing to windsurfing in the English countryside. The couple say they have the physical endurance needed to complete all the sporting events. But there are other obstacles.
What do I do? Yes, I have a massive phobia of fish, as ridiculous as that sounds. And when we were out practicing then, there was a big, horrible dead fish floating on the water just by my board. And it was all a bit traumatic. But look, we got back in and we managed the race. And I'm really glad that we managed to get the event done.
You shook that off really quickly.
Yeah. Had to be done. Look, we can't do 95 events and not the windsurfing, can we? So.
And you won gold.
Yeah! Nice!
Going for gold in the dozens of events only comes second to raising money. They have already received more than $40,000 in donations.
We'll carry on until there's a cure, until there are treatments. We'll keep doing things. If people want us to do the winter Spendy Olympics or anything, we'll take things on.
A tribute by two amateur athletes with Olympic-sized hearts. Imtiaz Tayeb, Oxfordshire.
Well, so far they've finished 30 events and still have a little more than a week to go. Looks like they're having fun doing it. Still to come on the... I don't know. Still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
When I say the
Michael Hayslip returns with your complete forecast.
Tanya was asking the great question earlier. Now that we know that the heat wave's got 2 more days and we've got rain on the backside of that, best time to get everything done outside, including mowing that lawn? Well, let's break down the mowing forecast from a fundamental standpoint. Obviously, on this Friday, we've eclipsed the AM and noon periods, so wait until after 5:30, 6 o'clock, okay? We begin to get a little bit better heat-wise, but even if you're going to be outside, I want to give you some just friendly reminders when we get down to this. Even if you're not thirsty, your body's like, no, I'm good. A whole lot of water, before you go out, take a break. You get the front yard done, take a break, grab a bottle of water before you hit the backyard again. And then Saturday morning, that's going to be another time as well. Here's why. Saturday afternoon, quite frankly, too hot. Saturday evening, thunderstorms rolling in. Carries us into Sunday morning, probably going to be too wet. Put the noon hour around Sunday on the yellow because those pockets that are going to have heavy rain, still going to be drenched. Now, Sunday evening, give it a chance to dry out. Temperatures down into the 80s, if not the 70s. Monday, all right, for those of you that get the heavy rain, you're going to have to put up with the dew. And even at the noon hour, it's going to be okay. It's going to be safe to be outside. But really, Monday evening, because we'll get a break from the heavier rain, our temperatures going to be absolutely delightful for the beginning of August, and it's going to be safe to be outside for prolonged periods of time, because that is not where we stand right now. As for the 3rd consecutive day, we are up into the 90s at the noon hour. Over 7th and Range Line in Joplin feels like 98. That's not too bad compared to the past couple of days, but at the same point in time, we're still throwing up triple digits at a whole bunch of places throughout the 4 states. And remember, 2:30 to 4:30, well, that's the hottest part of the day, so we got a ways to go. Tanya, I do want to point out, too, this excessive heat warning that we're looking at, for the most part, it's been extended. Just don't expect it to be any different on Saturday. If it's not an excessive heat warning in purple, it's going to be a heat advisory in the orange. So almost 6 1/2 dozen another, as we've seen all the warnings and advisories with the heat now stretched to the mid-Atlantic. It has just been a scorcher here this week, but the Skywatch Storm Tracker has left a void of any precipitation as everything hangs up to our north. Now, speaking of the north, see that big difference in color contour between Nebraska and South Dakota? Well, that's a little bit of a cold front, that is finally going to be able to penetrate its way down to the south. And as it does, we see a little bit of rain through central Missouri for tonight. Still a hot one on Saturday, but Saturday evening, here we go as it comes in from the north-northwest. You see the red and the orange, that's the heavy rain that I was talking about. It's intermittent, but at the same point in time, on the backside of it, how about some temperatures that are not going to scorch us? As a matter of fact, Sunday's high only of 86 and a whole bunch of low to mid 80s for our first full week of August.
All right. I'm looking forward to this cool down. We are due, that's for sure.
That is no joke. Mother Nature decided we were going to even up July real fast.
All right, thanks, Michael. We take this time to honor today's 4th-state hero, Corporal Rex Thomas in the U.S. Army. The soldier from Fredonia, Kansas, joined the 56th Amphibious Battalion in 1952. He earned a bronze oak leaf cluster for his service while stationed in Korea. To Corporal Rex Thomas, we thank you, our 4th-state hero. If you love chewy chocolate cookies, you're in for a double treat. Pour an ice-cold glass of milk as Howard shows us one of his all-time favorites in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
You know, we get the taste test recipes every day here in the Test Kitchen that we use in the news, on our website, and in our cookbooks. And as you can imagine, this means we've tasted lots of cookies over the years. So when I say the cookies we're making today are one of my all-time favorites, you know they gotta be good. For these chocolatey delights, we start by creaming some butter and sugar together until it's nice and light. Once it is, we beat in a couple of eggs. Then we slowly add in our dry ingredients. Some flour, cocoa powder, baking powder, and a little salt. Now, to ensure that each bite is really decadent, we toss in lots of chocolate chips and chopped pecans. We'll spoon the batter onto a couple of cookie sheets and bake them off until the edges are set and the tops are still a bit soft. After they cool on a wire rack, it's time to taste test them for yourself. What you'll find is a cookie that's a bit chewy, really chocolatey, and a little crunchy, all at the same time. They're so good, these might just become your new favorite too. To get the recipe for our double chocolate chewies, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a doubly good way for you to say, ooh, it's so good. You love your cookies.
You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4 state market prices.
We already know that it's hot today, and just a friendly reminder, it is going to be hot tomorrow afternoon as well. The heat advisories will stay in effect, but look at what develops tomorrow late afternoon into the evening. Some thunderstorm activity that'll roll through, pockets of heavy rain at times, and a cold front is going to present itself, and we're going to start August in the 80s.
Hey, bring it on.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that for sure. What do we have coming up tonight at 5?
Well, at 5, with COVID-19 hospitalizations climbing, many healthcare workers say they're worn out and frustrated, but they're powering ahead for their patients. We're going to have that story in Health Watch. Plus, local hospitals continue to see an increase in younger COVID patients. We'll have the numbers and details on a federal indictment for 6 Southwest Missouri residents accused in a kidnapping conspiracy. If you join us for those stories, a lot more. It's coming up on KOAM News at 5.
All right, thank you, Dow. Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.